This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute you're up $500,000 in soybeans and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, June 30th, the last Saturday of the month. And as you all know, we're running into 4th of July, long 4th of July weekend next weekend. So hopefully you'll be able to join us there as well. And with that 4th of July approaching, we're looking a little bit in this morning's commentary at American history and world history a little bit and get a little bit of a perspective of what's going on. I'm sure you're all reading the news, but we have our opinions here as well. And it all does tie into the stock market, though. You know, we talk about Mueller and CNN and so forth, but let's get into it. Really, the Mueller investigation is all about removing Trump from office, and we all know that, which it's been cheered by CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, among others. They are intent on overturning the results of a Democratic election to ensure there is no longer a government of the people for the people. They see this as intolerable, and those who voted for Trump are too stupid to vote anyway. I've actually heard that argument, so we all know what the objective really is here. Mueller is to overthrow the presidency, yet history may one day write that this is the very man who created the Second American Civil War. Mueller is hell-bent on charging Trump to get him out of office, the bureaucracy. Then we'll take back the government and suppress the people, grinding us into the dirt. What they overlook is that the resentment from both sides is turning into a sheer unbridled hatred, and this is the foundation for a needed civil war. This is by no means the first time a president was elected this century, and many said he didn't really win. Of course, the election of Abraham Lincoln led to the secession of several states who also rejected the election because they lost. The South rose up against the North, and the Civil War began. The Supreme Court gave George Bush the election, and that began to stir the discontent among the people. The presidential election of 1824 was really the start of Civil War, if you check history. This followed the Missouri Compromise, which was legislation passed on May 9th, 1820, and provided for the admission of Maine as a free state along with Missouri as a slave state. This maintained the balance of power between North and South in the United States Senate. It was showing that the tension was rising when the presidential election followed 4 years later. John Quincy Adams won the election and served as president from March 4th, 1825 to March 4th, 1829, but he actually lost in electoral votes and in popular votes to Andrew Jackson. The 12th Amendment specified if no candidate for president has a majority of total votes in the Electoral College, then the House of Representatives voting by states and with the quorum was to consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all states shall be necessary to a choice. The 12th Amendment requires the House to choose from the 3 highest receivers of electoral votes compared to 5 under the original procedure. Henry Clay was thus eliminated, and he threw his support to Adams. In the contingent election, it decided in Congress, Clay's backing gave the presidency to Adams on the first ballot. Jackson accused Clay and Adams of having agreed to a corrupt bargain, in which Clay supported Adams in return for his appointment to the most prestigious cabinet position. This was the event that split the Democratic-Republican Party into the National Republican Party and Jackson forming the Democratic Party. The hatred that is brewing is really out of control. We have the actor Peter Fonda calling to kidnap Trump's son and put him in a cage. To advocate kidnapping anyone in the president's family is just insane, if not criminal. This is showing there is no longer any civility left. The Hollywood industry is simply out of control. Kathy Griffin thought it was funny to show a bloody severed head of the president on TV. There is zero respect for the office of the presidency. As you know, I'm not a fan of Obama, but you don't cross the line and propose violence against him and then in another breath protest gun violence and call for all guns to be banned. The left is historically always on the violent side. The right argues to be left alone. The left cannot sleep at night because they worry the right is not submitting to their control. The revolutions in Russia and China came from the left. The French Revolution also was a leftist movement, and that is where they began with the Commune Project. It was the French who convinced Marx about communism. In 1848, territory won from Mexico was to become a state. As you know, that was after following the Alamo. This upset the balance of power and illustrated that tensions were rising between the North and South. The true issue, or that's what the matter is the Courier and Ives print showing General George McClellan preaching a peaceful end to the Civil War, standing between Lincoln and Jeff Davis, trying to support the Union. An American Civil War certainly becomes possible to my way of thinking. Again, it's really hard to believe, but we live in a violent country, and some of the cycles that I've researched and others that I've read about say between 2024 and 2026. If tensions continue to rise, interestingly, this could happen. And basically, based on some of these models, assuming Trump remains in office and is even elected in 2020, that brings us to 2024. That's where we can see serious risk of rising tensions that could bring about a second American Civil War. This is what I mean when I ask what comes after Trump. Not a pleasant subject, folks, but what's going on in the media and what's going on among the Democratic Party is out of control. And as you know, I've expressed my opinion both in my newsletter and on these broadcasts that the conduct on part of many of these participants is if not treasonous, certainly sedition. So we have a situation here which unfortunately could unfold into much more serious nature. What do we do? How do we protect our assets? Do we stay here and fight? Do we leave the country? Do you sell everything? Is gold the place to go? How will the stock market respond during such an event? And I would only assume it would drop precipitously if there really was, that type of event. So here we are, watching the news, trying to trade the market, follow the market, and do our best to report. And I pray to God that what I'm reading you and talking about does not unfold once again, because it'll be brother against brother, family against family, much as we saw during the American Civil War. I see it, in fact, in my own family, with the strong disagreements between the Democratic side and the Republican side, and Trump, pro-Trump, and all this nonsense without really looking at the facts and understanding what really has happened out there. We really have around the world a turn against government, and we're seeing this. There's even election coming up in Mexico, which we can talk about on our next broadcast and go into more detail there, where you may see the same pattern in Mexico as we saw here in the UK, and of course we saw here in the US, and we start to see in Italy and other places around the world with the population is just fed up with government, and they lost control, and they believe that democracy is out the window. So we're going to have some big changes around the world. Unfortunately, some violence could result, and again, I pray that doesn't happen. So on our show today, we're going to get back a little bit to pure market discussion on segment 2 coming up. I hope to have my good friend Don VIALOUX join us. Harry Boxer hopefully will be with us on the show, along with Henry Weingarten, and always our good friend from Eat the Bankers, Sinclair No, joining us later in the program. Don't touch your dial. You're listening to Wall Street Raw here on Genesis Network.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Fire your stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Scott Bauer, and I've been a professional trader for over 25 years. I've traded for Goldman Sachs and was the first Amazon market maker at the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I'm also the CEO here at Prosper Trading Academy, the leading educational firm teaching people how to trade the markets. For a limited time, I'm giving away one of my favorite secret trading techniques used by thousands of our students every day to help build their financial future. To learn this technique right now, call my 24/7 voicemail and just leave your email address. I'll email you my free trading technique right away. Just call 1-800-228-2155. This is the very information my students use every day to invest in their financial future. Again, call 1-800-228-2155 in the next 30 minutes and leave your email address on my voicemail. That's 1-800-228-2155. Call 1-800-228-2155.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at BYLN.co. That's BYLN.co.
Healthcare reform is confusing. With the loss of the Obamacare mandate, those needing help can now choose an affordable alternative. By joining Liberty HealthShare, you're part of a community of health-conscious Americans all over the country who control their own healthcare costs and choices. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of their medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S. The Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own, and only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code radio at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this last Saturday of June 30th. And we're always excited that you take time on a Saturday morning to tune in and listen to our commentary about the markets and sometimes political and other issues as well. And we just gave you a dose of that on segment 1. Meanwhile, my very good friend Don VIALOUX is with us now. And Don is the blogger, author of 2 great blogs, timingthemarket.ca and equityclock.com. Sorry, Don, I got you mixed up with Sinclair there for a second. How you doing?
Yeah, great to be back, Mark.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about 4th of July weekend a week early. Anyway, a lot of volatility in the markets, and let's talk a little bit about the summer rally. I know you've been calling for a summer rally basically from mid-June into July, and we seem to start seeing that now, even though we had a shakeout in the last week or so.
Yeah, interesting. Last week, Thursday and Friday, we started to get the proverbial summer rally coming in. It normally happens from late June right through until about the 3rd week in July, and it's anticipation of second quarter earnings reports. Now, this year, second quarter earnings reports by the S&P 500 companies are expected to be exceptionally strong, and that fits very nicely with the summer rally this year. Earnings by the S&P 500 companies on a year-over-year basis are expected to be up 19%. On an 8.7% increase in revenues. So it's getting lined up very nicely for the summer rally, but a word of caution. Historically, after the summer rally is over, around the 3rd week in July, equity markets in both Canada and the United States move lower until mid-October.
Let me ask you, I guess you have to unfog the crystal ball here a little bit. This rally, is it possible we could see new highs during this rally, or it depends which index we're looking at, in your opinion?
In the case of the Canadian market, the answer is yes. In fact, the Canadian market, very briefly, early last week, did hit an all-time high, but then it's backed off a little bit with weakness in the U.S. equity markets. In the case of the U.S. markets, chances of a new high are very small because there's just a number of things which are expected to have an impact on equity markets going forward after the 3rd week in July. One of those being inflation concerns are starting to rise in the United States. Last week we saw the PCE price index, that's the index followed by the Federal Reserve on inflation, move to a 6-year high, and markets responded. You probably have heard of TIPS. That's Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Symbol is IPE. That's the ETF for that particular unit. Yeah, last week it reached a 5-year high, and so we're starting to see early signs of inflation coming into the United States and also in Canada. A lot of it has to do with tariffs, which are causing prices in the United States and Canada to rise significantly.
So we start hearing inflation. Do we get excited about gold and silver now, do you think?
Yes, fascinating. In fact, looking at the case of the Canadian gold equity index, it's currently trading around the 192 level, and it's already outperforming both the S&P 500 and the TSE composite since mid-May, already indicating that its period of seasonal strength from 3rd week in July right through until the end of September is coming in once again. Now, it's a little bit early, but if we get the TSX gold index currently at 192 going above 195, look for a nice summer rally in gold and gold stocks in Canada.
Okay, so the shares seem to be leading the way, is what you're saying. The metal really hasn't done very much.
It's been fascinating. The equities have significantly outperformed the metal during the last little while. In fact, gold commodity itself is still struggling. It's recently hit a new low, but there's good reason to believe that as we start to see increasing impact of inflation, you're going to start to see gold and gold equities move significantly higher.
Do you have a little bit of a bias, silver versus gold, or even platinum, or any of the other metals during this rally?
Well, historically, gold and silver have moved together during the summertime. platinum and palladium, they tend to lag the precious metals in general. Recently, gold and silver have been moving step by step, so there's no particular bias one way or the other. Historically, gold has outperformed silver in the summer rally period.
Okay, that's great. So anyway, as we talked about a moment ago, trade fears are escalating, so that's a negative for us, right?
Well, yes. In fact, we just had the Canadian government make an announcement on Friday about what they're going to be doing about the tariffs that have been imposed onto Canadian goods. They announced tariffs valued at $16.6 billion Canadian, that's $12.8 billion U.S., that will become effective July the 1st. In other words, dollar for dollar, the tariffs that have been applied on the Canadian economy have also been applied on the U.S. economy. Now, these tariffs will start to have an impact on pricing on quite a few U.S. goods. It's also not just Canada that's giving these countervailing duties or tariffs. Other countries are doing it as well. Europe just recently announced countervailing tariffs, and China also is looking like they're going to impose higher tariffs as well. What happens here is when tariffs are announced, that means that any products that are purchased from these countries automatically, because of the tariffs, the price of those goods in U.S. dollars in the U.S. go higher. Mm-hmm. And this causes inflation to move up significantly. So look for a spike in inflation factors coming into the U.S. economy during the next few months.
So when will a key report come that could really trigger gold and silver? Is like an inflation number that would hit, that would be the trigger event that would really get the gold bugs moving, or there is no such date?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mentioned the PCE price index moved to a 6-year high. If it goes up a little bit more, it'll be a multi-year high, more than 6 years. So we're right at the cusp of that particular index. The reason that's important is that not only means higher inflation in the United States, but it also implies that the Fed is going to need to move on July the 12th. The Fed is going to be watching inflation very closely, and they're going to want to increase the Fed fund rate on July the 12th, probably by another 25 basis points. So watch for that to come down the pike very shortly.
Great, Don. So much good stuff. Good friend Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Check those websites out, folks. They're really great information. I use them all the time. Don, thank you. Have a great weekend. It'll be 4th of July next weekend, but we're still working here, so hopefully we can get you on at that time. Have a great weekend, and thank you again.
Thank you, Mark.
That's Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Don't touch your dial. Hope to have Henry Weingarten, Harry Boxer, and Sinclair No coming up on the program here at Wall Street Raw.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-261-9818 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-261-9818. Again, 800-261-9818.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I am 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305. 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, June 30th. And on the line is our very good friend and regular guest, Henry Weingarten from afund.com, the Astrologers Fund. And Henry's been doing this for 50 years and is not only a financial astrologer, but fundamental and technical analyst, cyclical analyst, and has made some terrific calls in the market. And the most recent, of course, has been the great negative call on Bitcoin. Henry, thank you for joining us.
Good. Well, I'm on vacation now, so we're rather happy. For the next, most of July, we'll be up in the country just sort of enjoying ourselves. Okay. We basically have 4 positions that we plan to leave unless markets go against us. One is we're long markets, which is profitable. We're long gold, which is not profitable, but we're turning into one of those hedges. The last one was at 12.52 as a buy, but we're holding it.
We're short the bonds, which is very profitable, and we're short Bitcoin, which is very profitable. So we plan to sit with that mostly over the summer.
Okay. So the summer rally is underway. Don was talking about that in the previous segment, and according to his work, by mid-July, you got to head for the hills because we could possibly sell off into the fall. Do you have a similar view or no?
I don't really have a view. I mean, basically, we have two views, of the same view we've had for 2 years. The U.S. economy is getting better, especially on a relative basis. The U.S. however, stocks are expensive. They hit numbers where one certainly would want to protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't see the need necessarily, however, to sell in May and go away. We do see it next year, of course. This year, I don't think so. So whether you took some profits earlier and protected yourself or didn't, I don't think it makes much difference. So maybe not. With that positions that I have, I think we'll be pretty well covered. But it's possible. It's possible, if we start giving up some of our profits, we'll go there. But the real issue is twofold. One is the trade wars. I don't see that as a big issue, certainly not till next quarter. But the other one is also the U.S. midterm elections, which could knock markets down. But again, I don't see that as an issue till the next quarter as well, fourth quarter. So right now, I don't feel the need to do anything.
But Trump is still positive in your work. You've been saying that all year.
It's promising, right? And basically it means if you keep buying at the right technical points, you made plenty of money. Whether you made it a short-term trade or just ignored it all or you wrote calls when it's higher up, either way, it's been pretty easy. Now, the problem is when you're too easy all the time, eventually you're going to be wrong. So somewhere along the way are, but I just think the fundamentals are good. I mean, stock buybacks are at historic levels, consumer confidence is at levels, unemployment is here. So the Russia situation's about to go away. Stormy Daniels isn't going to have an effect anymore now that they have the immigration thing. So most of the concerns I just don't think are real.
All right, so stepping back a little. Okay, so stepping back a little bit, then I'm trying to get a bigger picture of you here.
So something new. I just reminded you of something. We did enter into a new trade outside those four, which was basically to short oil at 74 and to go long copper at 295, I think it was. So that's a new trade because, I mean, oil could stay up, but I think it's expensive, although it is the summer driving season, and copper is certainly very cheap because for the next 18 months we're long copper. So that is something new that we are looking at.
Okay, yes, I'm long crude oil via the ETF, so I should look to take profits is what you're telling me.
Well, or write calls. No, I always think if you've got a wind on your back, why not write calls? That way you make extra money. I just, take some, besides it's always good to take some profit. You know what happens if you don't? It just goes away. So it can stay up, but it's not fundamentally justified in my opinion. So that could change.
Okay, and so backing up 1 second. So looking out a bit, 2018 is still okay, but 2019-20 are problematic for you?
Either 2019 or 2021, we expect some sort of correction. But what's the big deal? There are a lot of people talking another 10%. There are a lot of people talking that 30,000 Dow, the 3,000 S&P. Certainly when we get above 2,800 or 2,800 on the S&P, you certainly want to be cautious. You want to be protective. You don't want to be nakedly long just because these numbers are pretty inflated. So I think I think next year we'll sell in May. That's for sure. The third year of a presidential situation very often is not as protected because they want to get all the bad news done in that year so that the year after people can be happy. So there's, double risk, both astrologically and sort of cyclically. But here, I just think the U.S. economy, relatively speaking, is too strong. And plus, I think there's a big rally coming intuitively, not astrologically, when we win one trade war after another, and certainly with Canada soon, and probably with Europe, and even with China. Although China could stay a problem in the fourth quarter. But I think we'll start having some wins there, and then I think the market's going to rally on that. Now that I might sell into if it gets too excessive.
What about the U.S. dollar in this environment?
Same thing. U.S. dollar is strong. I'm comfortable owning it, but, I have gold as a protection on it. I think it should remain strong. It's a stronger currency. But it's a bit pricey, but not too pricey. Again, we're not really planning on doing anything more than what we've done for the next couple of months unless the market tells us we have to. Otherwise, I think it's just going to meander on with an option for the upside, not for the downside.
Okay, so that's great final news here. So we should remain bullish. If Don's right, it's for another 30 days, and if Henry's right, we should stay with it through the year. So let's see what the charts tell us.
Well, at least till September. Or
at least. Okay. At least in September. That makes sense. Normally we get those little hiccups in September, October.
September, right? Yeah, one of those you got to expect something.
Okay. Henry Weingarten from afund.com. Always a pleasure having you, Henry. I hope to see you in New York in October. I have a family event, so hopefully we'll get together.
Well, we have an event October 3rd if you can make it.
Oh, I think mine's a little after that, but I'll check my calendar. I'd love to see you.
October 11th and 25th in Hong Kong if you want to come to that.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to Hong Kong now, but that works out in New York for me maybe. Great talking to you, Henry Weingarten. Have a great weekend. And joining us on the line now is our good friend Sinclair No from eatthebankers.com and KFN at 1510 Phoenix. Hi, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us.
Mark, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, we're coming in at the sort of top of the segment here. We only have less than a minute, so we'll continue into segment 4 with you. But Sinclair, what's the top story in the next 60 seconds you'd like to address?
There are so many. Let's briefly touch on the idea of the Federal Reserve stress test. They are taking a look at the financial soundness of the major banks in the country, and most of them passed. I'll give you one guess as to which bank failed.
We didn't play the intro music, but if bank's behaving badly, leading candidate, it would be Wells Fargo, right?
Yeah, that's a good try, but no.
Oh, I'm surprised.
It's Deutsche Bank.
Wow.
The U.S. operations of Deutsche Bank failed.
Okay. Well, we're going to learn more about that after the break, and Sinclair knows will patiently be waiting with us here, and I appreciate that time, Sinclair. So don't touch your dial. Sinclair No from eatthebankers.com, and of course, commentary you can hear every day on KFN 1510 Phoenix. We'll be back after the break. Don't touch your dial. You're listening to Wall Street Raw.
You are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Bitcoin is losing crypto market share to other digital currencies. Bitcoin's astronomical rise has led to the creation of numerous competitors like Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin, which have also seen massive gains in value. According to Quartz, Bitcoin made up 85% of the crypto market 1 year ago, and today it has fallen to 36%. Remember, the only way to win in the casino is to take chips off the table. Call Miles Franklin at 866-485-4346 and let us show you how to quickly turn your Bitcoin into the 5,000-year-old safety of precious metals. Miles Franklin can quickly convert your Bitcoin to precious metals with one phone call at 866-485-4346. That's Miles Franklin celebrating our 29th year in business without ever receiving a customer complaint. Call us at 866-485-4346 888-882-4646. Fast, easy, safe, and convert your Bitcoin into gold with one phone call.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you a few from Amazon.com. By Mel. Great product. My husband and father-in-law use it regularly. Both my husband and father-in-law have had significant change in their blood pressure and overall health. By Amazon customers. It works for me. Returned to buy the tincture and the capsules as they were on sale during February. Unlike some other products, this one worked for blood pressure and occasional irregular heartbeat. Extendivite produced noticeable results after just 2 bottles, a 4-month supply. I take Extendivite 3 times a day, every day. I think the supplement has helped with my increased fitness regime and to lower my blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
You have been lied to. Generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Order now at KillingUncleSamBook.com. KillingUncleSamBook.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. It's Saturday, June 30th, the last Saturday of the month. And for those of you taking off for an early 4th of July holiday, and I know many traders are, have a happy and safe 4th of July long weekend coming up next week. On the line is our good friend Sinclair No from KFN in 1510 Phoenix and author of the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Thank you for staying with us during the break, Sinclair.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
So I'm reading here more than 20 banks announced higher dividends after the stress test came through. So they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, they're doing real well. This is just a very good scenario for banks these days. The regulations after 2008 did not hurt them. They require them to put aside more capital, Tier 1 capital specifically, to weather a downturn. Most banks have been able to figure out how to do that. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, I believe State out of Boston, State Street out of Boston, got conditional approval but they couldn't raise dividends or do share buybacks under a conditional approval. But everybody except Deutsche Bank passed the test. So the banking system's in pretty good shape. The economy is in pretty good shape. We're probably looking at somewhere around 4.5% to 5% GDP growth in the second quarter. First quarter GDP growth was revised down to 2% from 2.2%. I think you almost have to average the 2 quarters together to get a fairly accurate read, because it wasn't really that slow in the first quarter, and it's probably not really that fast in the second, or it's a little bit of makeup, if you will, for the situation. I don't see us moving at a 5% pace through the end of the year. In fact, the big question is whether we're going to slow down as we move into the second half of this year. And I think there's a distinct possibility that we will see a bit of a slowdown. Meanwhile, market has not been doing particularly well. for the month of June. The Dow Industrial certainly haven't been doing well. The S&P, moderate. The NASDAQ has been okay. It's up somewhere around, I think, 8% or so year to date. But the Dow is negative year to date, even after finishing out the week fairly strong. So the markets are kind of wobbly here. I'm expecting that the first few days of July will have a fairly solid little bump. But this, as you know, is the worst 6 months for trading. We don't typically expect much. Question is whether we'll be able to make it through September and October without a crash this year.
Right, we're in the throes of a quote-unquote summer rally right now, so we'll see how long that rally lasts. So
not much of a rally, I would say. I mean, the Dow Industrial's never, this past week, dropped below its 200-day moving average. I know you don't use that as a major indicator, but you know that a lot of traders that are trend followers, they're going to look at that. That's going to trigger a signal. Maybe that in association with another signal, maybe some sort of a volume reversal or something, you could have a big sell-off any day.
Well, that's what the cycles say. As you said, with the sell may go away, and there's a tendency for a little pop from mid-June into mid-July. But after that, Katie bar the door. It could absolutely happen. Now, we don't have to worry about the Fed this month, not till the end of July, early August. But I read this week that James Bullard, he's talking about the super strong economic growth rate. And I'm talking to other analysts to talk about the impact of tariffs and how that's going to raise prices and cause more inflation here in the U.S. So more than likely the Fed will try to raise rates in early August.
Yeah, the price increases that we are likely to see and have already started to see in many cases as a result of the tariffs, that's the entirely wrong type of inflation for the economy. You're paying higher prices. You are not receiving more for that. And actually, it serves as a brake, like a tax on the economy. Now, the good news is we got some tax cuts to start the year. That was a little boost. That saw the markets get a nice pop in the first few months following that. That's probably a lot to do with the second quarter GDP growth that we've seen are these tax cuts. However, you start putting tariffs on there, basically you negate the effect of the tax cuts, and you're going to pull growth right back down. At the same time, the Federal Reserve has to deal with inflation because prices go up. What do? They raise rates at a time when we are seeing a growing deficit from the tax cuts. It's a real nasty combination. I don't see how the Fed pulls this off effectively, continuing to raise rates without really slamming the brakes on the economy, not just tapping the brakes, but slamming the brakes on the economy.
We also have a flattening yield curve, too, and that's a bit of concern.
Yeah, that's a significant concern. We are seeing the yield curve between the 2-year Treasury note and the 10-year Treasury note dropping down closer and closer to about 30 basis points this week. Meanwhile, between the 7 and the 10-year, you're looking at just, I think it's less than 5 basis points is where we finished out the week. That's ready to invert right there. Now, that's not a widely followed 7 and 10. Usually folks are looking at the 2-year and the 10-year. When that inverts, that signals a recession. At least it has for every recession that we've seen over the past 60 years. Doesn't mean it'll happen this time, but, if you were looking at probabilities, that's going to get your attention. And it may just be a psychological thing. If the yield curve inverts, you could see people selling if for no other reason than just they're conditioned to sell when the yield curve inverts.
Right. That's it. It's programmed. We got programmed sellers. That's right. Absolutely.
So much of the trading that we see these days is all algorithmic. Whether it be a 200-day moving average and trend followers, whether it be following the yield curve and the flattening or an inversion, whether it, for that matter, even your own volume reversal work has been automated, and I know, thank goodness for that, because now it's incredibly easy to use your volume reversal work But you get a signal to sell on a volume reversal, what are you going to do? You're going to sell.
Right. Particularly if you're trading, no question about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, it works. That's one reason.
Well, that's a good reason. Yeah, we definitely take advantage of that. And thank you for bringing it up. We don't talk too much about my volume reversal indicator on the program, but if you go to vrtrader.com, you'll learn more about it. I've only been doing it for about 40 years, but it's all based on the concept that volume precedes price. I appreciate you mentioning that. Sinclair, we only have about
it's not only based upon the idea that volume precedes price. It is one of the classics when it comes to technical analysis of stock trades, because you really get to see where the money is flowing with this. And I don't say it enough, but I think that your technical analysis work is some of the finest in the country and has been for years, and that's why you've always been one of the top market timers in the country for years and years now.
Sinclair, where do I send the check?
No need.
Okay, thank you.
I've got the book. I'm set.
Thank you so much for the plug. We only have a few seconds, Sinclair. So Bitcoin is getting hammered here. That's killing the crypto world. It's really I thought a bit surprising to me. I thought there'd be a little more speculation in the current cryptos with the market uncertain, but they're heading south.
Yeah, I think that there's some real concerns about security for crypto and also concerns about regulation for crypto. This is a market that has not stabilized yet. And so at the very least, we will see extreme volatility moving forward in that market. If you want to play it, just anticipate massive volatility.
Sinclair? Thank you so much. Sinclair No from KFN 1510 Phoenix and author of the incomparable blog EatTheBankers.com. We'll talk to you again next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And as we do each week, we close our show with what our old friend Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network decades ago: we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.